If there's anything to learn from this story, it's this. You are not safe. You think the world isn't that bad. Your brain pumps you full of chemicals to make you happy and follow a routine. You don't think about the danger. You hear about horrible things happening to other people in the news, but unconsciously you think, that's not real. That's not going to happen to me. I will see that face when I die. I shouldn't have seen it. They would hurt me if they knew I saw it. But I saw it. And that face has never left me. For my own safety, this never really happened. I've been writing, script doctoring, and producing movies in Hollywood. Everything I ever wanted. But the constant pressure and stress of my job was giving me headaches. My career was always boom and bust. Cheers and prosperity followed by phone calls until 7 a.m. and constant power games that gave me a receding hairline. I'm too young to feel this old, I thought. I had to escape. I was in LA with my girlfriend at the time, who I really wanted to be with, but she couldn't stay. I also had a dream of being a YouTuber, something that seemed insane after all the work I did to climb to the associate producer role and being so close to my first produced credit. I was torn. I had so much, why throw it all away? My girlfriend was starting her business in Mexico. She wanted me to come with her. I had to make a decision. But still, I needed a sign, something to tell me if I should stay or go. I decided to talk to my friend Krista about this. She'd been living in LA full-time for a year, and even though I'd been working for 4 years, I hadn't actually moved to LA yet. I produced Krista's short film the year before, and she was by all accounts successfully living the LA lifestyle. I thought that she would give me my sign. I wish I never asked for one. Krista and I were going to meet at a coffee shop in West Hollywood at 10. But I have crippling anxiety, so I was there at 8:30. If you've never been to West Hollywood, it's a beautiful neighborhood in LA full of overpriced coffee shops and gay souvenir stores with novelty items like shorts with twink written across the ass. Cool place to walk around. And I was enjoying the sunshine when I saw something that I'd never seen before. Nestled between Acne Studios and a vegan brunch cafe was a sheet of solid metal. We're talking steel. And it was huge, higher than the other stores by a good 2 feet, more than twice my height of 6 feet. It had these deep grooves in the top, like markings on a UFO, or eyes. I know that it doesn't make sense, but it felt like the wall was watching me. If that wasn't enough, on the top of the wall were these teeth. Row after row of oversized canine teeth that would shred your hand if you tried to climb it. The teeth grew out of the wall, rippling like an inside-out mouth. It was oddly beautiful. It looked like it had been here before there were any buildings. A polished wall sticking out of the dirt. What could this wall possibly be protecting? And more importantly, why was the door open? I think what was happening to me in that moment was I felt not what I should have been feeling. Instead of running away, I was moving closer. The wall reflected the California heat. It was cold. Getting closer, I could see that the wall protected a brutalist courtyard. Immaculately maintained, the gray concrete on the inside was almost white. It struck me as robotic and dead, like an android's corpse. There were 10 statues inside, arranged in a circle. Oh, I thought, it's a sculpture park. It was a little weird that there was so much security for a sculpture park, but it is LA. Enterprising drug addicts will steal anything that's not tied down. Looking back on this moment, I never really noticed when I crossed the wall and went into the courtyard. It was like I was pulled there, going towards the statues against my will. The statues were definitely on display, but there was something weird about how they were laid out. They were in a circle, but they were facing inward. They looked human, but something wasn't right. Looking back on it now, the way that they were arranged, I should have been able to see some of the statues' faces, but I didn't somehow. The statues were bigger than they looked. I thought they were about my height, but they were actually about 8 feet tall. I could see that if they were depicting people, it wasn't supposed to be realistic. It was cubist, Picasso-like. I always thought that if Picasso paintings could speak, they would scream in agony. What would it feel like to have somebody break your body into confusing shapes? I saw their faces. I'll forget a lot of my life. Hours, days, and even weeks will fade. It's just how the brain works. But their faces have never left me. And when I saw it, I knew that they never would. I will see their faces when I die. They weren't men. They were owls. They were creatures with men's bodies and owls' heads. They were large, with sharp pupils. We think owls are wise and kind creatures. I think of the owl from Winnie the Pooh. But we forget that while owls are smart and cute, they're predators. Predators that kill things, rip the meat off their bones, leave skeletons behind. And when I saw the owl man's face, I felt a fear that I'd never felt before. I'd only ever heard of fear like this from stories. Last December, I visited the Serengeti. I learned that the most dangerous animal isn't the lion or the hippo or the crocodile. It's the leopard. Leopards will camp outside of a tourist camp, watch the tourists, pick out which kid it's going to eat, memorize the kid's movements, follow, then strike. It'll grab the kid like it's nothing and drag them into a tree. If the guards don't shoot it, it will rip the kid's skin off and hang it in the tree while it eats their flesh. And I still haven't told you the scariest part. Once the leopard has eaten human flesh, all the guards in the Serengeti work together to kill it, because once it's eaten human flesh, it will never stop. I never felt fear like that until this moment, that something could hunt me, find me, drag me up into a tree, and eat me. I knew now that this wasn't a sculpture park. No shit. I'd like to say that it was because there were no plaques for the statues, no museum accommodations, but that wasn't it. I knew it wasn't a sculpture park because of the feeling. I felt fear rush up my stomach into my throat. My heart raced. I don't want to know what happens in this circle. I don't want to know what rituals and incantations people say when people die here. I don't want to look at these statues' horrible apex predator faces any longer. I saw something. The walls behind the sculpture park were glass, floor to ceiling, looking in at the owlmen in the circle. Past the window glass was a luxurious room, and inside it, with their backs to me, were two built men in bulletproof vests, carrying M16 assault rifles. I'd seen soldiers before, but none like this. With most veterans or soldiers, you can't tell if they'd killed someone. These guys weren't like that. Just seeing their backs, the tattoos on muscle, I knew that these guys were killers. I've thought about this moment a lot. I hoped that they wouldn't have actually killed me if they saw me, but in that moment, standing inside that evil circle that I wasn't supposed to be in, I believed they would. I felt like I could die. I wanted to run. My mind screamed at my legs, but I couldn't move. Then I took a breath and pushed as hard as I could. My legs started moving. Thank God they listened. I took a step, then another step. I started running. I didn't look back, but I still felt those owls' eyes watching me. I went back to that wall with Krista a few hours later. The door was closed, so tight I could barely make out the outline of it. Every time I go back to LA, I go there. Maybe just to confirm I'm not crazy. The door's always closed. Every time. The more times I go, the more times I realize they definitely knew I was in there. I didn't escape anything. They let me go. Why? I can still feel them watching. Those owl eyes have permanent real estate in my brain. Every time I feel stuck, chasing my career, ending my relationship, I wonder, are they still watching? Are they still waiting? Or did they always know exactly what I do? They want me to be making this video right now? But they don't do anything. Why don't they do anything? This story doesn't have an ending because life doesn't always have endings. What I saw in Hollywood still haunts me. I could die at any moment. Might as well do what I want to do with my life. I was looking for a sign to leave LA. I got my sign. Thanks for watching. 1 hour watch parties on Patreon. Bye.